Hello. So today we're going to show you the process of reading and annotating. And in this template, this is a pretty standard way of approaching an article, particularly one. The one we're going to look at today is not that difficult, but there are a lot of difficult articles out there. And so this is a toolbox really to help you get through and understand them, and really to kind of attack the way that you approach one of these things. And so in the ERWC template, what they talk about is the first read is the with the grain. So that's what we're going to look at right now is the with the grain. And I'm going to get myself a pen and a highlighter, and this is pretty much how I would approach, especially an article that I have not read before. And so I take a look at the clues. The clues help me to at least get my head in the right direction. And so I look at the title, A Change of Heart About Animals. And change of heart usually means that it's talking about, well, maybe I'm going to not really change my heart, but change my mind about animals. So this has something to do with reconsidering something about animals. I also take a look at where this was published. Since this is the Los Angeles Times, I know that it's geared toward an audience. With the Los Angeles Times, they're primarily a more liberal audience, and since it is a newspaper, it's going to be written pretty much for everybody. But who would be interested in animals? Usually animal lovers, or I don't know if hunters might want to take a look at this or not, but I just kind of sit and consider, okay, if I were to pick up the Los Angeles Times, what kind of people would look at an article with this title? I also take a look at when it was published, if there was any significant historical contexts of why this was written or when this was written. 2003, I really don't know if there was anything significant occurring at the time. I can assume that the article may give me some indications with that. And finally, I took a look at who wrote it, Jeremy Rifkin. And what I have actually done is I've gone to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is okay. Remember that anybody can edit Wikipedia, but for little things like figuring out who the writer is, this is a good place to go. So I see that he is an economic and social theorist, political advisor, public speaker, um, and he wants to talk about the impact of scientific and technological changes on the economy and the environment. So now I'm kind of getting the idea, okay, so this has to do with probably environmentalists, something to do with animals. So I just give myself a general idea of who the author is. Okay, so the first thing I want to do in the first read is figure out where the um, major claim is. So we're going to take a look. They are more like us than we imagine, scientists are finding. This is way too general to be a major claim. I'm going to need more information. And plus, since it's not numbered, I think this is a subtitle. So this kind of gives a clue as to what the whole claim is about. Though much of big science is centered on breakthroughs in biotechnology, nanotechnology, and more esoteric questions like the age of our universe, a quieter story has been unfolding behind the scenes in laboratories and around the world, one whose effect on human perception and our understanding of life is likely to be profound. Well, I'm seeing words like profound and um, he's got a bunch of uh, vocabulary here that is a little bit complicated. I may need to go back and figure out what these words are. Still too general to know exactly what this article is about, though. What these researchers are finding is that many of our fellow creatures are more like us than we ever imagined. They feel pain, suffer and experience stress, affection, excitement, and even love, and these findings are changing how we view animals. Okay, here is the link. change, and change. So I know now I've got myself the major claim. So we're talking about how animals feel pain, suffer and experience stress, affection, assignment, excitement, and even love. So I'm going to label this as my major claim. And then I continue to read, knowing that whatever I'm reading, it will talk about how animals feel pain. So, strangely enough, some of the research sponsors are fast food purveyors such as McDonald's, Burger King, and KFC. Pressured by animal rights activists and by growing public support for the humane treatment of animals, these companies have financed research, among the other things, the emotional, mental, and behavioral states of our fellow creatures. Well, that's quite interesting that we've got fast food restaurants are funding research into how animals feel. Studies on pig social behavior funded by McDonald's at Purdue University, for example, have found that they crave attention and are easily depressed if isolated or denied playtime with each other. The lack of mental and physical stimuli can result in deterioration of health. I think this is another important phrase here. I'm going to circle that. The European Union has taken such studies to heart and outlawed the use of isolating pig stalls by 2012. In Germany, the government is encouraging pig farmers to give pigs 20 seconds of human contact each day and to provide them with toys to prevent them from fighting. Oh my gosh, can you see this? I can't even imagine this. Other funding sources have fueled the growing field of study into animal emotions and cognitive abilities. Here's another uh, phrase that I think may be important. Okay, I'm looking at the organization of this, and so I know that in this first part, he's actually giving the type of research that these fast food companies have been financing. And so he's finding that, or at least these studies have found, that animals can be depressed and they have cognitive abilities. Cognitive, um, I know, has to do with thinking because of the root cog. Uh, Cognition um, usually is how you think about something. And so they're talking about how they're finding that they can think. As you go on to read, you'll notice that is indeed what's going on. So what I'd like you to do at this point is finish the rest of the article and make sure that you are circling um, vocabulary or phrases that you think are important to know, especially those if you don't know, and also to figure out, kind of as you're going along, how he's supporting the claim that animals feel. So go ahead and take a few minutes to do that right now. This will be your first read with the grain from Jeremy